Our core values of care and integrity since the inception of Brown Insurance Group has made us one of Indiana's most respected and valued insurance agencies. To make an appointment with one of our experienced specialists, call our Highland Insurance office at 219-972-6060. Brown Insurance Group. Small town values, big time resources, going beyond expectations to protect you and yours.
Good morning, everybody. We are going to try YouTube Live. This is our first YouTube Live in well over a year. We've been doing Facebook Live since the pandemic has started. We used to record our shows and are now back doing live shows. A couple things we wanted to go over with you. We have a very special show coming up this afternoon at 1 p.m. on Facebook Live. We'll upload it here, and so you guys can enjoy it as well. It's a surprise. That's all I could say. We've been working on this all morning long and trying to get people on board with it. And it's going to be amazing if we could pull it off. But I'll be honest with you, this is a last minute deal. So we've called on some favors to see if some folks would join us, and hopefully we can get this done. I'll be honest with you, some amazing people will come on. They've been on our show before, and so we're looking forward to getting them back on again, but as a group. So this is going to be absolutely amazing, and I guarantee it's going to put some smiles on your face. Much needed smiles right now. I mean, man, I tell you what's going on. People losing their jobs, staying at home, normally aren't used to staying home. Kiddos not used to being at home with their parents. Things are, hey, this has been talked about. Wanted to do today a couple of things. I've been telling people I want to highlight each one of the non-for-profits that we bring on our show and have enjoyed having on our show. So I like to, and hopefully this is going to work again. We used to do this all the time and not so much anymore, but we'll see here. Yes. All right, there we go. The non-for-profit I'd like to highlight today is Campagna Academy. They're located in Schererville, Indiana. They used to be called Boys Town, and used to be a home for wayward, particularly boys, obviously the name. But now they've transitioned into this educational academy, if you will, for troubled youth. Youth that cannot fit into a normal educational environment, whether they have special ed needs or something they just can't fit in. So Campagna provides that environment in multiple layers, both on campus and off campus. They provide a tremendous amount of resources for folks that really can't make it in a traditional setting, and they provide hope. That's one of the key things that they do. They really go out of their way to provide hope, and so we'd like to highlight them today. And again, all of these organizations are going through troubled times, so we're trying to call attention to them to let people know, number one, they exist. Number two, some of their fundraisers that they've had to obviously be canceled because of the COVID-19 virus. And it's troublesome for everybody. You folks sitting at home, this is one thing, and I keep telling people this. I can't remember anything in my 60-year lifespan that has caused this much disruption globally than this. Now, in my lifetime, of course, there's some World War II vets maybe sitting out there saying, "Yeah, Sonny, let me tell you." Well, I know. Yeah, I'm not trying to minimize that, and I always salute our veterans, particularly World War II and the Korean War, the Vietnam War. Vietnam War happened during my lifetime, but it was not this catastrophic. So what I'm saying is consider if you're still working out there, still have a means of income, and would like to help a non-for-profit out. Campania Academy is one I'm calling out today as being an amazing facility, amazing complex, and so keep them in mind. Another thing I wanted to do is, and I'm hopefully going to be able to do this again. Yes. All right. So, what I'd like to do is just go over our morning report. This morning report, actually, here he is. And I'm going to play this for you a bit. This is an amazing reporter, Michael Puente from WBEZ Chicago. He is a good friend of ours, and he has acted as co-host many times when one of us, or mostly Kelly, is in a play. And we're extremely impressed by his talents as a reporter. He has been doing a COVID-19 report every evening around 7 p.m. And so I'm hoping to do is play this for you, and should start in a minute here.
Good evening. This is the Northwest Indiana COVID-19 report for Wednesday, March 25th. I'm Michael Puente. I'm a reporter with WBEZ in Chicago, and I also do work for our media partners, Lakeshore Public Radio in Maryville. I'm at our Northwest Indiana studio in Maryville right now, which is in the building for Lakeshore Public Radio. Here are the latest numbers from the Indiana State Health Department. Indiana now has 477 confirmed cases for COVID-19. That's 111 more than from Tuesday, not even 3 weeks after the first case was confirmed. 3,356 people have been tested. That's 425 more than from just yesterday. We've also had 2 more people die from the virus, bringing the statewide total to 14. Right now, Marion County, home to our state capital, Indianapolis, is getting hit the hardest, with nearly half of all confirmed cases there, and 6 of the 14 deaths. Here in Northwest Indiana, the numbers are also slowly going up. There are 26 confirmed cases, 19 in Lake County, 3 in Porter County, which also just had 0 just a few days ago, 2 in LaPorte County, and 1 in Stark County, and 1 in Jasper County. And that's probably the most troubling, is that we're seeing the virus now spreading to more remote areas of Northwest Indiana. And in keeping with all the numbers, 52 of Indiana's 92 counties have at least 1 confirmed case of COVID-19. And the numbers just don't stop with the confirmed cases of deaths. Unemployment is skyrocketing in Indiana. Last week, 22,500 people filed for unemployment. Today, that number is more than 54,000. And we're just at the start of this. Today, Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb held his 3rd press conference this week to talk about what he plans to do to help those who no longer have incomes.
We're trying to sail through this storm as fast as we can and make sure that we're accommodating. One thing that we're going to spend a lot of time yet this evening combing through is this latest phase 3 supplemental that does get at building this bridge to recovery in a massive way for every state. And I appreciate and applaud the work that's happening in Washington, D.C.
Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb talking about the 54,000 people who are now applied for unemployment. I know I got started a little bit late with this update. I'm trying to get as close as possible to do it, but every hour it seems like we have some late breaking stories to talk about or to tackle. So I'll try to get better at it. And if you have any questions, I'll answer it near the end of this video. I usually go about maybe 15, 20 minutes. And you don't have to watch the video if you don't want. You can listen to it as a podcast later on. So Governor Holcomb went on to say today in Indianapolis, as you know, Indiana is pretty proud of a $2 billion surplus that it's had over the last several years, actually for a long time, actually. It's used in case of a rainy day. Well, there is no rainier day than we're having now. And he talked about how he plans to try to use some of this surplus money.
But we haven't spent that yet, but that day's coming. And Hoosiers should know that this is the exact reason why we were so fiscally prudent year after year after year after year. It wasn't, when I said we were going to war with this, that's not rhetorical. I didn't say that for effect. We weren't trying to amass a surplus for a bumper sticker slogan. It was for this day. And when we put pencil to paper and we start to address the real needs in a light item fashion, Hoosiers should take comfort that we live within our means.
Also joining Governor Holcomb at today's press conference was Jeffrey Payne, who's head of the Indiana Workforce Development Department. They're the ones who handle the unemployment claims. And again, 54,000 people since last week have filed for unemployment. But we sort of have this new economy, right? This a gig economy where people, they may not be employees of a certain company. They may be driving Uber, they rideshare people, independent contractors, people who aren't an employee of anywhere and normally wouldn't be able to file for unemployment. Well, the state plans to help them too. And this is what Jeffrey Payne had to say. He's with the Indiana Workforce Development.
Those businesses that wouldn't ordinarily be covered and individuals who wouldn't ordinarily be covered, but who will now be covered under disaster relief.
So he just talked about a little bit that under normal circumstances, folks who are in the gig economy probably wouldn't be able to collect on unemployment, but they're going to be factored in under some disaster relief. And also speaking at today's press conference, which is the third one this week, we're not sure yet if he's going to have another one on Thursday. But also speaking at this press conference was Jennifer McCormick, and she's the superintendent of public instruction for the state of Indiana. And as we know, kids, students have been out of school now for, I think, a week or two. It seems like a long time. They're going to be out at least until May 1st. And this is what she had to say to the students in Indiana who are no longer going to school.
Again, want to thank our local schools for the work that they continue to do. They have been nothing short but amazing. Also to the students, I'm speaking to you again. Make sure you are working hard, make sure you stay positive, and make sure you are being a good partner during a very difficult time. To our families, I'm very aware of the hardship, and I appreciate the support that you are providing to the Department of Education and also to your local schools.
And Dr. Jennifer McCormick also talked about the need for childcare. She knows this sort of hardship right now. It's hard to allow parents to go to work. Some of them who aren't even working, but those who are working really have no place to put their kids at. And that's what she had to say.
The last survey, which was last week, March 19th, which honestly seems like months ago, but that was our initial survey on collecting information on where that daycare lies. At that time a week ago, we had 50% of our districts that signaled they had some type of childcare available within their communities. Our charge under the governor is to expand that, making sure that we are taking care of those who need childcare so they can operate for the essential needs of the state of Indiana. So we will continue to work forward. We have provided guidance to schools. This is not mandatory. We are going to determine where those needs are, contact those superintendents within that area, and proceed on.
And also joining the governor down at the State House is a person that we haven't heard from this week in this crisis is Lieutenant Governor Suzanne Crouch. She talked a little bit about the tourism industry and how it's affecting Indiana.
And wanted to take this opportunity, first of all, to say in the midst of a challenging period, my spirits are lifted each day as I serve alongside Governor Holcomb and these incredible individuals. From Lake County to the Ohio River, from Evansville to Fort Wayne, this crisis has affected Hoosiers in ways too many to count. But please know that your health and well-being are the driving force of every decision that we make. My agencies are holding weekly stakeholder calls so we can stay connected to our partners and our partners can stay connected to us.
This is Lieutenant Governor of Indiana, Susanna Crouch. She also talked about trade agreements that they have with foreign countries. This is what she had to say.
Just this morning, the ISDA was on conference calls to our number 1 and number 2 trading partners, Canada and Mexico. And we let them know that while our borders may be closed, our relationships are strong and we are planning and prepared for the future.
And that's Lieutenant Governor of Indiana, Susanna Crouch. Now, one of the big issues that are faced, everybody wants to know about, it's about testing, local testing for COVID-19. And beyond that, who are these people who are contracting COVID-19, their ages, where they're from? I'm seeing a question by Anna Martinez. Right now, they have been sporadic information about patients. Usually we get a little bit more information when the person dies. They are not giving out any more detailed information other than where the person is from and which county they're from, not even which town or city, which county they're from. And I think at the onset of it, it's because when we just had a few cases, it was too identifiable. Now that we're getting a whole bunch of cases now, we may be starting to get more detailed information on not just people who passed away, who are the people who are contracting COVID-19. So down at today's press conference in Indianapolis was Dr. Christina Bach. She's head of the Indiana State Health Department, and this is what she had to say a little bit about testing.
We have, as you know, been ramping up our testing through Lilly and the State Department of Health, and those are the tests that we need to really be able to turn around quickly. Those are the people that are admitted to the hospital, that are long-term care facility workers, live in a long-term care facility, work with our most at-risk population, because it is critical that we know that turnaround. Other individuals that are sick but may not need to be admitted to the hospital, when they're sick, they need to go home and isolate anyway. So those are the tests that I think can afford to have a longer turnaround time, because if it's COVID-19, they're going to need to be home for at least 7 days anyway, at a minimum. So the problem that we're seeing is LabCorp originally came out and had about a three to 5 day turnaround, and now they've got a big backlog because there are people doing drive-through testing, and so consequently their lab is getting backed up. Quest has always, because they started just testing on the West Coast the most, has been a 10 to 12 day turnaround from the very beginning.
And that is the Dr. Christina Bach, who's head of the Indiana State Health Department. I just have another question from Mike Bonaventura. How much further will the numbers rise in Lake County? If I had a crystal ball, I'd be able to answer this. I will say this, that you can expect those numbers to rise because increased testing in Lake County, but not as an alarmist or to scare people. We are getting some indications that the state is gearing up, that Indiana could be a hotspot, including Lake County. I think Lake County now sitting with 19 confirmed cases. We're sort of ranked third in the state, or tied for third up there, behind Marion County and St. Joseph's County, maybe third or fourth, but our numbers are starting to rise. And you have to remember that testing in Northwest Indiana was slow to come. Much of the testing was held by the Indiana State Health Department, and it's just ramping up now. So while we're sitting at home, we're getting grumpy, we're not really, today was the first day of the sort of stay-at-home order until April 7th, we may not be out of the woods. I'm not trying to sound alarmist. I know some people just in Chicago, we're hearing a lot of people just aren't taking it seriously. And we're hearing other reports that, maybe some people in this society are expendable. Maybe the older people, the people who have had their lives, the older people, your grandparents, your parents. Well, those are the people who are going to be most effective. However, we did get a report that an infant died out in California from this. So people are getting a sort of a sense of complacency and feel like their personal freedoms are being damaged or violated in some way. I think right now they're just trying to protect people, but you can live your life the way you are. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. So again, let me just go over the numbers for those who just came on board for this video. Right now, Indiana, as it stands for Wednesday, March 25th, Indiana has 477 confirmed cases for COVID-19. That's 111 more than from Tuesday. And we're not even 3 weeks into the first case was confirmed. 3,356 people have been tested. That's 425 more than from just yesterday. And we've also had 2 more people die from the virus, bringing the statewide total to 14. Marion County, home to Indianapolis, our state capital, is getting hit the hardest, with nearly half of all the confirmed cases there and 6 of the 14 deaths. And here in Northwest Indiana, here are the numbers as well. 19 in Lake County, 3 in Porter County, which just had 0 just a few days ago, and people telling me, why are we being left out? Well, Porter County, you're not left out anymore. 2 in LaPorte County, 1 in Stark County, and 1 in Jasper County. And I think that's probably the most troubling right now. We're starting to see numbers in areas that are somewhat isolated and very rural, and we're seeing numbers there. And right now, as we stand, 52 of Indiana's 92 counties have at least 1 confirmed case of COVID-19. And again, unemployment is skyrocketing. Not to go over everything I just said, but 22,500 people filed for unemployment last week. And this week, with the 2-week period, that number has climbed to 54,000 people in just not even 2 weeks, in just the past week. So those unemployment numbers may go up as we're seeing more and more companies and businesses closing up. We're hearing of some businesses that are closed for good. The Mexican restaurant in Maryville, Abuelos, one of my favorites, closed up, and they're not going to open up again. There's some stores that we're hearing may not open up or temporarily. So that's why those claims are going up. And we're also hearing problems with our Maryville-based White Lodging Corporation. White Lodging is the entity used to be owned by the late Dean White. His son, Bruce White, is now owning that. They run hotels all around the country. And right now, they're struggling right now. They're set to close 9 hotels. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say hospitals. 9 hotels they are set to close in Louisville. They're thinking about shutting down Indianapolis' flagship hotel, the JW Marriott, the big, beautiful blue hotel in downtown Indianapolis that was just opened just a few years ago. And the street right there is called Dean White Way over there. He built it. Crown Point's own Dean White, the late Dean White. And they run several hotels in and around the Chicago area, luxury hotels. Maryville-based White Lodging Corporation not having a good time right now because who's staying in hotels? They're having to shut down. So these numbers look bad. Of course, in Congress, they are still playing around with this $2 trillion lifeboat for corporations and Americans. So we'll have to see where that plays out. So tomorrow, I hope to have another update, let's say closer to 8 o'clock. Every time I try to get to the 7 o'clock to do a little bit earlier, it seems like something is coming up. So I'm only one person trying to produce this. Again, though, working with our media partners with Lakeshore Public Radio and WBEZ, we're trying to bring you the latest news out of Chicago, out of Northwest Indiana, and focusing primarily on Northwest Indiana because, as we know, We got sporadic television coverage. A lot of the TV reporters are focusing on Chicago because Chicago's a huge city. Maybe not enough time for Northwest Indiana. So hopefully, in some little way, I could bridge that gap. I really don't want you to look at me. I'm looking at this video. My face looks really big. You can listen to it as a podcast. Just have it on somewhere. Share it with people because I think it's important that you know the information. I only give you things that are confirmed. I'm not trying to be an alarmist. You can live your life the way you want to. If you want to ignore the orders, if you want to just do whatever you want, do it. I got friends and family who feel that maybe this is all hogwash, but it's only to protect you or those you love. So take the information the way you want to. I think we do need to take it important. And I will say one other thing to our elected officials out there and the hospital community. In Lake, Porter, and LaPorte counties, we need to have almost a central figure to dole out information because we got Gary, we got Hammond, we got East Chicago, we got Portage, we got Michigan City. It'd be nice to go to one person or one entity to try to group that all together. And the hospital systems. Right now, it's unclear where all the testing's happening. We were told Crown Point, Michigan City, but beyond that, where else can you get testing? So I'm trying to get information on that. And I will say that you should have a plan in place for your own family of what you're going to do if you get sick. Are you going to go home? Are you going to isolate yourself? Do you have a potential to get your own family members sick? And nobody wants that. So right now I'm in the process of trying to find out which hotels in Northwest Indiana would accept people who are confirmed to have COVID-19 or may suspect themselves to have COVID-19 if they don't want to stay at their house, or maybe they live in an apartment and they have nowhere else to go. So I'm running right now trying to find that out. If there are any high school or college journalism students who want to help me with that, message me. And I love to work with you. I got my own journalism students at Calumet College who you're going to hear from on my show Off Mic on Friday, a little bit of what they're going through, what they're experiencing as young people, and how they're no longer are going to be able to march through their commencement and how that's affecting them. And so any young people studying journalism, want to go into journalism and want to help me, try to compile some information, I'm happy to have you on. So with that, you can play this. We're going 20 minutes. I'll be back on tomorrow, let's say 8:00 p.m. for the Northwest Indiana COVID-19 report. So for all my, for me and some of my hardworking colleagues at WBEZ and Lakeshore Public Radio, which this is not a WBEZ product, but I'm doing this as a service to you and a service to my friends and family. I live in Northwest Indiana. I'm a product of Northwest Indiana. I grew up in East Chicago, so I care about this community deeply, and I want you to have the information. So with that, sorry I was late. Play it again if you want to. I'll see you tomorrow. Stay healthy and stay safe.
Thank you, Michael. Boy, I tell you, now you know why he is a two-state award-winning reporter. And again, that's Indiana and Illinois. That doesn't happen very often, but we always knew that Michael was special. Sorry, Mike. That he was very crafted in his profession. He hits home. I tell you, he should be on a national stage. He delivers some amazing information, sad information, but we verified. Yeah, before I listen to this, I keep tabs on all the numbers, not as deep as he did, but he's right. We're going through a crisis that is unequal to anything I've seen in my lifetime. It has crippled all the states. It has crippled the people who are sitting at home. They're wondering, with this backlog in unemployment, I don't have an unemployment check. My employer just laid me off. What am I going to do? I'd never seen this before, and we're dealing with a large portion of our population. So, but we're here. as the news media delivers that type of news, is to try to keep people entertained. And boy, like I said, I hope we could pull this off at 1 p.m. If we can't, we're going to reschedule it for another time. But I just wanted to get the word out there so all you know that this could possibly happen. Still waiting. I put this out while people are still looking at the back of their eyelids. So hopefully they get that and they'll be able to come together and we'll have some pretty awesomeness. That's all I'll say. So with that, I just want to let you know, I'm going to go over, for those of you on YouTube who are not familiar with this, I'm going to go through our report that we generate every morning, a weather report. And so Michael is a part of it. He allowed us to share that with you on our Facebook page. If you want to join his, so you could look at that video directly, his name is Michael Puente. You can friend request him or just look at his video. We are always going to share his video on our Facebook page and include it in our morning report. Our morning report, what does that consist of? Well, in these trying times, we definitely want to give you links to all the health departments so you can get the latest in any information that's going on. I'm going to use the Indiana State Health Department as an example. Some of the numbers that Michael was talking about can be found here. And I've got to give it to my home state of Indiana. They have impressively put together a tool that allows you as a citizen to dial in and find out what is happening in our state. Troubling numbers. And as I was telling people on our morning show yesterday, we seem to be floating between 12 and 14% of confirmed positive cases out of total tested. As Michael so eloquently stated, the problem is the availability of test kits. We know these numbers are going to go up. It's indisputable. These numbers are going to go up. Because people don't know. And so that is what we're looking at. Besides that, really what we intended this to be, and it started out as being, is a weather report. And so you could dial into our Facebook page and look at the weather reports for various different communities. Our viewing goes everyone from the Chicagoland area, which is our largest viewing. And as you can see there, this is pulled directly from the National Weather Service. We are not meteorologists, wanted to be one, but my dad convinced me to do something else. So what we do is pull in live weather, radar, and then the various different communities that listen to us. Michiana, here's the weather report for Michiana along with the description and their radar from their area. Milwaukee, we have a few people listen up there, so we include their weather report and along with their radar. And then, of course, Indianapolis. Quite a few of our listeners travel daily or weekly down to Indianapolis, so we try to give them a weather report of what's going on down there. And this is uncommon for them. They normally don't do two reports, but they're going to have some really intense thunderstorms coming through, so they're trying to give people a heads up in their radar. Then we have a national look at the national weather. So all this is in our morning weather report. It started out as a weather report, but we are probably going to rebrand this as a environmental report because it covers both health and environmental conditions that are weather related. And that's what we do. So you folks on our YouTube channel, subscribe. We are going to be doing live shows here on out. We learned our lesson. We try to do just YouTube. Doesn't mean we're abandoning YouTube. We will upload our shows that we do from Facebook on YouTube. And that's it. Again, I want to, I came on to highlight our non-for-profit for the Campania Academy. Does wonderful things for the community, but they, as you can imagine, are being affected. So give them some consideration if you do still have an income and are wondering where to spend some dollars to help people out. They are a very worthy non-for-profit, so consider them. I will leave you right now. I hope this has been informative. I know definitely Michael's portion was informative, and I got to thank him again for allowing us to use his report. And he pretty much states why we do what we do. We're here to help. We're here to bring a message of hope to people, and I guess our role becomes somewhat more important now because there is a need for hope. So again, tune in to our neighborhood show, Facebook live streaming on the Bill and Kelly Show Facebook page. Please stop by, give it a like so you're notified. We also have a Twitter account and an Instagram account. So you could go by and like on those. Instagram, we're going to start doing more of that as well when we can. And Twitter, we always do. It's connected to all of our social media. So with that, I will say goodbye for now.
This episode of The Bill and Kelly Show is brought to you by Brown Insurance Group has been providing coverage to municipalities, companies, and individuals in the region for over 73 years. As a partner of the Keystone Insurers Group, we are able to offer an extensive line of insurance products and services, from commercial services including employee benefits and liability insurance, to personal services such as home, auto, watercraft, and motorcycle coverage. We are also committed to our community. We support many charities and events in the region. Our core values of care and integrity since the inception of Brown Insurance Group has made us one of Indiana's most respected and valued insurance agencies. To make an appointment with one of our experienced specialists, call our Highland Insurance office at 219-972-6060. Brown Insurance Group. Small town values, big time resources, going beyond expectations to protect you and yours.